Hello everybody, it's Leala
And Beau.
and welcome back to my channel.
It's been a while.
And welcome to our new series about Queendom 2. This is our episode 1 recap.
Yep, not Girls Planet 999 anymore. We've moved on.
No.
And now we're doing Queendom Season 2.
Yes. So, welcome if you're new to our channel. Welcome back if you listen to our Girls Planet episodes. Please subscribe if you'd like to hear more of our recaps. We will be doing these every Saturday during Queendom.
So, 2 months?
Yep.
So 8 episodes probably, around there.
Yep.
Okay, very good, very good.
Are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. So for episode 1 this week, we'll talk about the intro performances. Each group did like a 1.5 minute long short intro performance at the beginning of the show.
Which they put out online a while ago and everybody's seen those.
They did the introductions where everyone comes in and like sees each other in interactions.
The cute part.
They went over like a rivals thing where they picked their rival. And then we'll talk about the round 1 first 2 performances that were in this episode.
Yes.
So that's what we'll cover today.
Yes. It sounds good to me. A good suite of subjects.
Yes. This episode was a bit strange because they put out the first half of it like a week early on YouTube. So we watched the first half of it early. Stuff. They put out the intro performances on their own early. And then they put out the first half of the episode on its own early. And then they had the actual first episode perform the first 2 round 1 performances, and then we like watched it in like really low res from Twitter because we were too impatient to wait for it.
It was
on
like
Viki.
240p.
So some of this isn't as fresh in my mind as it would be if I had just watched the whole episode today. So please forgive.
Well, we watched it twice.
We watched it a couple times, but it's been like over the span of a week and a half.
So they put out the intro performances, and then they put out the first part
half.
Of the
they
first
called it
half
episode
of this.
0.
Yeah, the first half of that. And I'm wondering if that...
It was all confusing.
I am wondering if maybe there was something to do with... They wanted to give themselves a buffer for any COVID issues maybe or something. Because
No, I don't think it had to do with that. They were just building a pipe.
It's fine. That's cool. I built
mine. And it worked because, before we get into it, the ratings apparently thus far for
better.
Queendom 2 have been better than any of the other shows, like double what there was for Kingdom. So that's good. I'm glad. I want the show to do well.
On TV.
On TV. Yeah.
Which everybody says, well, who cares? But you can still use it as a metric compared to last. It's still gotten better. Meaning one of these artists is pulling in people who are more likely to watch TV, which would probably be older people, slightly older people.
Girl groups, from what everyone says, girl groups actually in Korea have more mainstream popularity. Yeah. So a lot more people that would watch the show on TV, like actually in Korea, would watch. Right. Whereas boy groups tend to have a lot of international fans and stuff.
Okay. But still, that's good to hear, though. It's good to hear.
Yeah, it's really good.
And it's been a hell of a lockdown. It says people are ready for something to kind of get their mind off of it. Yeah, just get their mind off of stuff.
So let's start with the intro performances.
You do such a good job, by the way.
Like I said, we saw these like the first time like over a week ago. We watched them again today, so they're a little bit more fresh in my mind. They were very short performances of just... I'm not even sure which song everyone was doing. Some of them were just like music,
more of an instrumental version.
Was made just for this.
Yeah.
I ranked them, I think, on my preference. I don't know if you agree.
Let's see.
On the right, WJSN I ranked in first place. I thought theirs was really beautifully done.
Yes. Yeah.
They even had like a whole like costume like prop switch halfway through where
that's
their
right.
Dresses
That's where
were black,
they're black, and
then they undid the shoulder and pulled them down with it while there was some like smoke on screen, and then they were white. It was really cool.
The one got kind of stuck. I like when that stuff I don't like it, but I'm saying it illustrates this is a real thing.
Yeah.
They could have reshot it and stuff, but they have this gives it a bit of an edge of finality to perform. You've got to do well.
Yeah.
It's hard to do perfectly well. So, WJSN number 1, I'm going with yes.
I think yes.
Yeah.
Well, they both had that, and then it was just like a really lovely, good camera work and everything. I thought theirs was really good.
I think it had the most, it felt like the most complete of an introduction. Like it showed a lot of variety of stuff, camera work. It gave all these little aspects of K-pop dancing, but also pretty stuff and whatever.
They sang.
Yeah, they sing live.
Some people didn't.
Cosmic Girls is what they're called. So you might hear us go from WJSN to Cosmic Girls, but
it's such a habit for me to call them WJSN that I don't know.
Yeah, but WJSN is such a clunky name.
But if you want to call Cosmic Girls, maybe I'm
trying to get in the habit of that Cosmic because Girls? I think it's adorable. Okay. It's like there's little space people.
Second place, we put Kepler. We're biased because we love Kepler.
What's his wee?
You don't have her in second. They don't have them in second place.
I mean, I would have put Viviz up higher.
Oh, really?
Maybe even Hyolyn second. Kepler was good.
I put Kepler in second because it was like this really powerful intro performance with like the marching band style, and they kind of like it was the We Are Kepler intro from the album.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So it was a very good intro performance to showing them, and they were
because if you didn't know the album, that would still be a good introduction. You'd think they wrote it was like
perfect for this.
Literally an introduction.
That's why I liked it. It was like perfect for this. It's an actual introduction, and it had like showed their strengths, powerful synchronized dance, and then like I like the outfit.
That's the first track from the album called See the Light, and it's only 1:30. It is literally an introduction track. Excuse me. And the best part about that is it has Kepler is doing this kind of mix of not old school, but like it's hard to explain. But when they go We Are Kepler, and then and they go into kind of the more. I can't sing it or whatever. Like the more flowy part of the song. They don't do it a lot in this song. It's more they concentrate more on the dancing. It's a great sound, and that's how they're going to be as a group. I think they're going to be very modern. They're not going to do the pretty stuff necessarily like Eyes One did. Not pretty, but glamorous kind of stuff. So I thought it was a perfect intro. It was tight. Yeah, I thought seconds. I'm just thinking about it now.
I could flip Hyolyn into second easily. Hers was really cool. She was just by herself, no backup dancers or anything like that. Just her alone. She comes out,
turns the camera on to see that the whole area is empty.
Place was empty,
which I love.
It starts in black and white and then goes into color. She does a part where she's singing live vocals. She does a part where she steps back and is doing more hard like dance, and then going back into it. But just like in a very short performance, she showed like all of her skills.
But she didn't rap,
and I love that. No, not for this.
I know she's a good rapper,
but I love that. We'll get to this when we talk about her performance later. But I love that's what experience brings to the table, is that she knows when to like show really good live vocals, when to come back on the live vocals and just focus on the dance. And she does both like at the top of her game. She certainly has a style that isn't very girl group K-pop. She's very much like almost like a Western R&B artist.
More R&B,
but
that's where
I'm starting to like love her a lot.
Same.
Like I'm gonna walk out of this a huge fan of her because I only know her a little.
A lot of people are like, oh, and you can hear the backing track. If you watch some of the best R&B singers in the world, which I've watched plenty of videos of, they'll have live backup singers.
You know when to sing live
they'll
and
pull
when
back
not
and
to.
do a harmony. It's about playing with the song more than just singing along exactly like the recording.
So good.
So.
Luna, again, I could probably switch Viviz and Luna. I don't feel that strongly about this list. But Luna was pretty. They did like, the big group performance that showed their strength in that they have all these members.
And it's very synchronized,
very flowy, very tight. Yeah. It wasn't something that like blew me away or anything, but it definitely was like, yep, that's what Luna can do, and that's what they are bringing to the table. So that's cool. I liked it, but it wasn't like one of my top.
It felt like a Luna thing to me, but what's funny to me about Luna was that it was a bit more, it was less the hard dancing kind of Luna. What am I thinking here? Like,
it actually kind of was a little bit.
It was, but they had this beautiful kind of, they were doing a bit more ethereal looking, they were kind of giving a nod.
Please, at some point, do Butterfly and give us some pretty ethereal dance.
When
please, Luna, please, Luna, I'm begging you.
That's when they got the most attention was Butterfly, and they
might be begging you.
They might be running from it a bit, but I think that I think that they were obviously giving a nod to all their different types of fans. Oh, I like this album the best, that album the best. Yeah. In fact, all of them kind of do that. Not all of them, but a lot of the groups in here do that. They cover all the bases. Kepler really can't as much because they don't have as much.
They don't have a discography,
but they still showed their different abilities and stuff.
Viviz, again, it was very smooth and like just a very short little kind of groovy, like disco-y sounding song.
Yeah.
They showed like their style of dance, just like similar with G-Friend and also as Viviz, is very flowy, pretty, smooth, graceful. lots of handwork and stuff like that. It's not powerful. You can't see me doing air quotes, but I'm doing the powerful dance. It's more pretty and like groovy.
Here's the thing we'll talk about it when
it didn't like blow me away, but it was nice.
No, we'll talk about it more with Viviz when we talk about the performance. But I don't know. I'm falling for them really, really quick. I think they're just amazing.
So cute.
But they're bridging a gap between the old school and the new school. In a lot of ways, though, so is Hyolyn. She's got to figure out her place. Mm-hmm. Is she going to be more K-pop or more Western style?
I think she already has figured that out.
No, I know. She's very good at what she does now, but I'm just saying that this might give... These shows are interesting because they give these groups a chance to not only see other groups live and talk to them, but then go back and watch the TV show of it and watch themselves and be like, you know what? I kind of like that side of me more. And because you can get in your own little bubble as an artist, and so I think it'd be interesting to we'll talk about her performance in a minute.
Brave Girls, we put at the last. Again, I thought the song choice, the styling choice, the way it was filmed was all a little bit weak. Like, it wasn't my favorite.
It was weak.
It didn't have the charm that Brave Girls have. I think that they need to really lean into their charming qualities.
Oh,
they're not power dancers. They aren't well, I think, Min Young can be a power vocalist. Yeah. Give her that opportunity, please, before this.
And excuse me for saying this, but what's her name also, who was in the first Queendom, is a very good dancer.
I forget her name.
She's known as...
We're learning names, everyone.
Big, beautiful
please,
eyes.
Please
you know who that I'm talking about. She was in the first Queendom. She is an amazing dancer. But the thing is about Brave Girls is they're coming into this thing... Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But... And we'll talk about them more next week when they're up. But is that... Exactly. They need to lean into what G-Friend and Luna, maybe G-Friend more, of course, are about wavy hand, pretty bubbles, girls in pretty fluffy dresses.
Yeah.
That is a total vibe.
Yeah, it's a total vibe.
Brave Girls are that to upbeat summer kind of dance. Let's have a good time. There's nothing wrong with it.
Let's have fun. I wish they would almost lean and be like inspired by the way Mamamoo did their performances, because I think they could do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
If they have that vibe. I just think they haven't quite found their feet yet, and this performance didn't blow me away.
The thing is,
it was like, it was okay.
For an introduction to Brave Girls, if you didn't know Brave Girls, you would get the wrong impression.
You would get the wrong impression.
They are very good at being four very pretty women, doing fun dancing, but more and a lot of live vocals, and just having this nice flowery kind of bubbly, fun.
The reason
summery
they had
feel.
their upswell in fame, the second round of like their second chance, was because of how much everyone loved the way they performed in front of a live audience and interacted and had that fun with their audience. That happened in 2020, so they haven't had an audience since. So I want to see that again, and them to like remember that's actually their strength.
It's interesting because what happened to them was also, I'd say, mostly due to the reactions of the crowd, and it was a military thing.
Yeah.
But they had been doing those performances for a long time for the military.
Right.
It had a great story to it, but also they had a good interactions with the audience, and that audience wouldn't act like that if they weren't Brave Girls. They weren't that good. They were very bright and
they're very lovable,
and they need to lean into that. And we'll talk about next week more, I guess, and maybe the episode here we'll talk about in a minute. But they need to quit being afraid, try to be something else they're not.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Brave Girls, and I feel like anyway.
So that's the intro performances. We can get into.
I'd agree with the ranking. They were. By the way, these are all degrees of small degrees of difference between. They're all so good.
Now we can get into the introductions. The big part of the episode was one of my favorite parts of these types of series.
I'm surprised you didn't put her face when she was called out.
Was the part where everyone walks in and they see each other because they don't know who else is on the show before this point.
Yeah, because this was filmed earlier, much earlier. Yeah.
So they come in and they sit down, and then the next person comes in and they all react to one another and interact with each other, and they're I love that part of these types of shows.
It's all really I care fun. About. I could watch no performances and just watch idols like this hanging out, being silly and stuff.
I didn't really write down notes for some of the highlights of this, but there were some highlight moments.
Of course,
throughout.
There's already a couple memes in there.
There's already memes. One, we had said if you watched our previous videos about Queendom that there's a lot of groups here that we don't already know super well, so we're getting to know them through this.
Yeah, which is good.
And one of those groups being Vivi's G-Friend members. I love all three of them. Yeah. I love them so much.
The thing even about
after one episode.
The thing about Viviz is I have seen even a mild fan. I'm not a mild fan of K-pop, but a new fan, I guess.
Yeah, we're newer.
You're much more experienced than I am. But as a scientist, you've graduated 6 times and wrote a dissertation, whatever. I'm in school still.
Right.
Viviz is like one of the loveliest. Some people are more of a Monsta X is sexy, BTS is kind of like boyfriend, whatever. Viviz is just lovely.
Yes.
Like the way they do their styling, and I'm forgetting her name, the short hair.
Eunha.
It helps that she's cute anyway.
She's the cutest. She is just the cutest person I've ever seen. Like, she's the cutest thing.
It's a different kind of cute.
She's so cute.
It's a different kind of cute.
It drives me crazy.
You see the little boy on the channel that reacts, the little chubby boy, remember on that one channel? He's cute in a different way. There's different kinds of cute. She's not a younger person. She's not 17. No,
she's not a teenager.
Right.
Say not a teenager when you mean that. People think that you're calling them old.
No, I'm sorry.
Say they're not a kid, just say not a teenager.
Not a teenager. And so, as a full-grown adult, it's a different kind of cute. It's like, but then you take that hair and you put that hair on her, and their makeup. When they walked out, I was like, don't apologize. You're kicking everybody's butt already.
I love to. They have a whole strategy. They are here to play, and I love that for them. They were like, let's dress up a ton, and to intimidate everyone. So they dressed up in these really fancy outfits, and then they were like, if we come out and it seems embarrassing, like we're overdressed for the event, we'll lie and tell them these are our stage costumes from another thing. And so they came in there, everyone was like, oh my goodness, because they're oh, these are our stage. They're playing the game.
Okay,
I love that for them.
Yes, everybody could have dressed up, sure. But their styling, I've watched them just in their awards, their award wins and their label. I mean, their single and stuff. They have successfully branched the gap, but we have to stop looking at. And this is going to sound stupid, but Brave Girls with her ginormous $28 million and beautiful earrings look amazing as well. But the way they were editing, or the way people, they were a little nervous and stuff like that. They were also sitting on the end. It's harder to talk to everybody. And then the way they did did Viviz or whatever, it's they're both amazingly glamorous. We've got to stop this kind of thought that, because they're a bit older, they're going to be a more dour.
Please, come on.
It feels like they're doing that a bit with Brave Girls.
K-pop really needs to stop.
Well, fans do
treating people that are late 20s or 30 years old like they're washed up. Let's just drop that. But anyway, Brave Girls came out. They said they're a little bit shy. They don't have a lot of industry friends. Doing this sort of thing is pretty new for them. I mean, they were active for a little while as a group, and they were inactive for a long period of time, and then they had this just viral resurgence that just is unprecedented. There's no comparison. So Brave Girls are really coming into this show as a super wild card. I don't know what to expect, and they feel a little bit unsure about themselves. That might be a result of some editing, but it's also them kind of. I'm trying to think who was the group in the first season who was a little bit like this. I'm trying to think, and I'm having a hard time, but a little bit more, quiet and more shy and stuff like that. I know they're hilarious and they're funny and stuff. We've seen them be funny. And Vivi, speaking of which, go watch their. The guy comes through the door and they have to go to sleep. What was that? The sleeping. Oh, I don't know the name of the show.
So freaking funny. But Brave, all these girls are funny. They get trained in variety. And the thing is about Brave Girls is they've just got to get settled in and be cool with what they are, which is.
I want them to make industry friends because they were we don't have any friends and we don't know anybody. And so I was like, oh, I want the end of this show to be that Brave Girls have made friends with someone and they're besties. I'm not sure who yet, but, and also there's so much to discuss here, but, we'll get to that when we talk about the rival portion. We'll talk about the rival thing with them and G-Friend. I hope they become friends is what I'm saying.
The thing about Brave Girls is you have a group who, and they even illustrate it during the introductions where she says, we weren't doing anything in 2018, remember?
Right, yeah.
Funny little cute moments like that. Yeah. They were also serious, if you think about it. There was a dark time for a group. Yeah. They went through that. They were not nothing. I don't want to say that, but they weren't doing very well. They're still going out there performing for the military. Granted, maybe it's an audience you can guarantee to get. I don't know, but either way, they're out there performing. They're still, they get this sudden explosion to the top. So they weren't in the industry making all these friends. So now they're at the top and they're in their bubble of Bray girls being on every commercial, Chanel, blah, 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 and all that. And so they haven't had a chance to settle down, I think. And
it's been a bit of a whirlwind.
And relax a bit. They seem a little tense. It's like, that's why I liked Queendom, the first one, is I want those moments where they get to hang out and joke, and you get to see those people as, people.
And WJSN came out, and they're again another group that we're looking forward to getting to know through the show, who I'm starting to love even more, Cosmic Girls. Yeah. I only know their leader, Exie, from the drama that she was in called Idol the Coup. If you haven't watched it, it's not that I can recommend it. It is a hard watch.
Non-stop
it is non-stop, guttural, like visceral sadness. But anyway,
it's a drama.
She is a good actor.
She's very expressive. But even though she doesn't do a lot, she
has almost this like cold, chic, hard, tough girl like aura to her, and she comes through with it. But she's not like that at all. So it's almost like you feel like, oh, they're going to try and evil head at her. But I don't think that they are actually going to do that, because they talk to her. They let her talk a little bit later when we get into the rival discussion about some of her history and stuff like that, which is really cool. Which I like Exie and the interaction between Cindy, who again I adore. I didn't even know her at all, and then she comes in here and she's like the sassy queen of everything, and she's like, you can't evil edit me. I'm too good. She's like, you want content? Mnet, I'll give you content. So they come in and sit down as Viviz, having debuted in 2022, and next to them is sitting Cosmic Girls, who, even without knowing this, you can gather that they're industry friends, and
the body language and stuff.
Because they are about the same year and stuff like that. Yeah. And they're like, oh, so, they're not our seniors because they came here as Viviz.
Because they're in 22.
Because they didn't, and they're just like giggling about it to each other. And Simbi goes, hey, Yoram. And she like looks over to her with
which is the first meme that came.
This perfect expression with like her wide eyes, like what?
No, but I thought she was doing a what do you want kind of a thing. Like she didn't know, so she went with kind of an expression that could be read either way. She knew the next line was coming, so she's like, because it was a joke. It was obvious, not a joke, but she knew that she was her friend like Cindy, because they're friends.
Yes.
They posted on each other's Instagram and stuff. That's why I watch this show.
She's like, am I not your senior? And she's like, tell your friends that I'm your senior.
I think she was...
That moment was just so good, because it's like, see, Mnet, you don't have to like evil edit or make people be something they're not. You can just grab onto these fun moments like this, and it's fun. It was a joke.
Mnet has done a lot of that actual evil editing.
She wasn't actually being mean to anyone.
But sometimes they just have to make up something to give something for people to watch.
Cute. So I love that she understands that and gave them something to work with.
Well, the funny thing is Yoram was like, oh, okay, so how do I respond? This improv this is hard. Cindy's too, and so she was just like, she's like, tell your friend. Tell that little smart ass sitting next to you that I'm going to come over there and smack. It's basically the tone, but in a funny way. She's like, what, you think we're not your seniors? I like that she had this kind of like, you're hanging out in a bar and this tough girl's like, hey, you think you can't take me on? It's like this kind of, like from 1950s gang culture. Like she's going to start snapping. And Yoram was like, in that one shot, you can see Yoram just pointing. It was her. Like pointing to her friend. It was her. She said it. And then the girl apologized. What's her name? Apologized.
Oh, it was so cute.
And then I joked about it. We joked about it, but then I put it on the subreddit. It would be the epitome of awesome, because all of these young ladies and women here are funny. You can't become an idol without being funny in some way. It really.
Not everybody is.
No, but they all know about funny.
Yeah.
They've been around people, or they are funny. They know the timing. If they started this huge complicated drama, like you know what I'm saying, like she was my friend first, come on, and like faked it, but stuck with it, and then made Mnet use it.
Like maybe this is an ongoing like storyline between the two of them.
Imagine if they would literally make up like a lore or something. That is such a fan. Like they just went bonkers with it and just had fun with it, and then Mnet, because Mnet doing that, showing Yoram's face. They knew Yoram wasn't making a serious face. No. Mnet knows what they do. Mm-hmm. They know how crappy it can be to get the evil editing they did, like in Girls Planet.
Yeah.
This was them recognizing and maybe this is why I'd like to see the groups maybe throw it a bit in Mitt's face.
That's what they were doing.
You don't need to do that to us. We are all trying to be decent people here. So.
No, like, to be honest, like, this whole thing and just like the way they edited it, I thought it was like awesome. It was very, like, maybe if you're coming into the situation you don't know any of them, you might think, oh, she was being rude. But nobody was being rude. They were teasing. You tease your friends. That's what you do.
All I know is Cindy picked up a lot of fans from this.
She's awesome.
As in, like, people go, whoa.
I feel like I was missing something, not knowing about how cool she is. Like,
there's just so many groups. It's hard. It's hard.
And just, like, I'm late to the party. Anyway,
there's a cute interaction.
To talk about everyone else, Kepler. It
was adorable.
They're the cute babies, like the newbies with the newbie excited energy. Like, that was kind of the storyline that they're getting.
I hope it comes out, and I think it will, that Yujin is not a newbie at all. She is very experienced in K-pop. The dark side of it and the light side of it.
Yujin is a, what's the word that I'm looking for? Peer to groups like WJSN.
Very much
and,
so. Maybe there was some,
CLC.
I think later in the show, they'll get into it and they'll talk about it, because Yujin was there on those stages a lot of times.
Yeah, she was.
But very much like a good mom of 8 kids, she just kind of kept it together. And
they were cute.
I love Yujin.
Luna.
By the way, there is a moment where Kepler, you didn't put in the thing. It's an absolutely adorable moment, because you forget that Youngun is the same age-ish, or is the same age as Yeso, 17.
She's a little older.
But still.
Right.
They held hands and walked over to Brave Girl and say, and they bowed and everything. Hi, I'm Youngun, and she's like, how old are you? And she's like 18 or whatever. And she's like, my father really likes your music. And it's like, okay, that was the worst thing to say. But at the same time,
it wasn't.
I mean, no, it wasn't. But it was cute because,
my dad listens to you, Brave Girls.
Dads and moms pay a lot.
Listen, the dads are the Brave Girls audience. And the dads have some voting power if they know how to do it correctly.
Hey, nerd culture, Marvel, all that, as huge as it is because of dads.
That was really cute.
It was adorable. They also wanted to include them and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's what I like this stuff for.
Yeah. Luna, slightly unfortunately, are getting the, like, oh, woe is me edit.
But this is their storyline.
It's their storyline, and they're going to, like, come out triumphant and stuff, but that, just about, like...
Well, maybe not. We don't know.
They just are kind of, like, air quote, struggle. Like, they aren't being very specific about what this struggle is, with their company's financial issues and stuff like that. And when they showed the part where they told them right after they got off stage for their concert that they were going to join Queendom, half of them looked a little bit dubious about the whole thing. They were like, oh no.
What are you doing?
And then they were like, oh wait, we're supposed to be happy, yay. And it was a little bit like, you can understand that because it's hard work and it's going to be it's going to be a grind for a few months, and that's a lot of tiring, exhausting work.
And they've been doing nothing but grinding for years.
But they were a little bit dubious, and they kind of got the, like, oh, poor Luna edit. So I don't know how I feel about that, but again, I'm not a big Luna fan, so that's fine.
I love them, but I think that this is if that's your storyline, give them what they want. They'll edit it that way, and you'll be fine. But Luna will prove themselves on stage. They're good. Mm-hmm. They're very good.
And Hyolyn, of course, comes out as, like, the queen above everyone. Everyone loves her.
She's incredible.
And she's very cool. She's very chic. She's experienced. She's not like these kids that are excited by every little thing. Like, she's been in the industry for a while, and she's also done a bunch of reality shows. I didn't know that she had done all these competition shows in the past.
To illustrate a point, illustrate that point, she at one point she hugs a host, Taeyeon.
Yeah,
like they've known each other.
They're
this
peers.
And I think it's funny. A lot of people look at, like, someone like a Hyolyn or Taeyeon and be like, oh, it's like Galadriel. She's been around for 1,200 years. It's like they're like 30. They're not even 30. Like, they're children. Like,
I know.
But it's like, I like that.
K-pop
kind of
is weird in that having a career of, like, maybe 8 to 10 years is so exceptional that you're treated like a veteran of the industry. Whereas here, that's,
Madonna,
veterans have, like, 30 years, 20 years. But there, because the life cycle of a K-pop group is so short, that, like, if you've been in the industry for 10 years and you're still at it, that's a pretty exceptional thing.
But don't you think they kind of, once you do that, you graduate to, like, a solo artist like a Hyolyn or a Taeyeon, and then from then you can just go on and you could be 50 and having albums and stuff. Like, like a Celine Dion,
Yeah, I mean, K-pop is young industry, so, like, it's not that old.
She was cool. It's cool as she came out relaxed,
it was really fun.
looking cool.
At as part of it, at the end of the introduction section, they picked their rivals. This is the chart here, and this is who everyone picked. Some of the notable picks here that I found really interesting was that Hyolyn picked Kepler.
I think it's smart.
I think smart. that was actually the perfect choice. Perfect. Because she's the veteran group. And they're the newbies. They're the new hotness, you know?
Well, not only that, but it also shows that she's got a humility to her. She's like, she wasn't saying I'm intimidated by them or I'm better than him. She was saying,
they have that young energy.
All right, she was like, bring it, little kids.
Yeah.
It's very...
I would love to see what
brilliant
you can do.
Choice.
Kind of
Brilliant choice. That so far, everything she has done has set her up to, if not win, be at the top.
I think so, man. I think she's got it. She's
I don't think a solo will ever win.
A contender.
I don't think a soloist will ever win.
I don't know, man. She's a contender.
Well, we'll talk about predictions, but I thought it was a brilliant move.
Mm-hmm. Going down, Viviz picked Hyolyn as well.
Wait, Brave Girls did Viviz.
Brave Girls picked Viviz. Oh, yeah. The Brave Girls picked Viviz first, which was
a really
like
sweet little
a very sweet moment. One, because they're like, why? You know, why did you pick us? And they're like, well, because they were peers working at the same time in like 2016, 17 or so. And that's when they got their start. But G-Friend went up and up and up, and Brave Girls didn't. They kind of like... So they were always standing to the side, watching them go up and up and up. So it was like like a respect thing of like, I'm glad that we're here now together.
Well, now that we're here, let's fight. I mean, it's a very anime thing.
It was Let's
have an honorable fight. And maybe we'll come out on top this time. And Viviz would be like, great, you know. Brave Girls didn't get picked. I don't know if we'll talk about that now real quick. Is that a good or a bad thing? I think it's perceived as a bad thing.
They were playing it as it was perceived as a bad thing that Brave Girls didn't get picked.
Well, it is.
I think it makes sense because Brave Girls are a wild card.
Yeah, I know, but
who knows what's going to happen? We don't know.
It's classic basic reverse psychology. When Hyolyn picked Kepler, what did Kepler do? Oh, bring it, B. No, they were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yes.
Everybody thought that. I was cool enough. No, maybe she thinks she can kick your butt. Mm-hmm. They don't think that part. They think, oh, what an honor to be picked from somebody. Mm-hmm. And then you don't get picked. You are automatically going, and I think rightfully so, that you were ignored, not picked. Does that makes sense? Brave Girls is like you're saying, it's a wild card, but because maybe they're more, I hate to say this about K-pop, but more mainstream. And they're not on the forefront of K-pop, but they're very popular. So maybe everybody was just like, somebody else would pick them, of course. It was no slight on the other groups.
I didn't take it as like a bad thing. It just felt like it makes sense because they're a wild card. I don't know what to expect from them. They don't.
Which they can use it to their advantage.
Yeah. There was also a sweet moment in that WJSN picked Hyolyn as well.
Mm-hmm, that was cute.
Because Exy and her have history. They were on like a show together, and Exy said that the statement at the time was that she was like riding on Hyolyn's coattails and kind of thing. So
I hate that title, Unpretty Rap Star. By the way, I hate that.
Yeah, they were on that show together. Ugh. I think that's the one. Anyway, I also forget they're from the same label. Sistar is the older sister group of WJSN from Starship, so they know each other. They have history. So it was more of like now we're here together, and I'd like out of respect, we're gonna compete together.
It was good. I liked it.
It was really good.
Kepler Luna, that was cute because they were sitting next to them. It seemed to me they discussed it literally sitting there.
Yeah.
So I don't think they said, hey, let's pick Luna. They're right here. But they thought, who's a group that
Similar
might be
vibe.
us in a couple years?
Yeah.
We could have some ups and downs. Now, of course, Kepler knows they're going to break up in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of similarities in all these groups to each other. WJCN picking Hyolyn had that story. Kepler, Luna's fine. Luna, WJCN because of the similar size. Mm-hmm. The Brave Girl thing is bothering me, and I think that come next episode, or this will come into play. This whole rival thing. They don't just do something for fun.
Yeah, they do.
Mnet is going to do this. No, there is something going on
here. They're trying to create
here.
conflict.
Yeah, but
I don't know if this was going to mean anything in the end. But anyway,
it couldn't because Brave Girls didn't get picked, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. And then after that, we had the first two of the round one performances. The round one is your signature song. performance, which is really fun. So everyone gets to do their, like, the most famous song. There was only 2 of them in this episode. The other 4 will be next week.
Wait, yeah.
So the first one was Viviz doing their G-Friend songs, Time for the Moonlight and Rough, like a mashup of the 2 together.
Which I wonder if the other groups went, I didn't know we could do that.
Of course you can do that.
No, it's fine. I don't care.
So they did a mashup. It was beautiful, of course. G-Friend have kind of almost like a sad-ish story in the way that they were very unceremoniously broken up with no warning, and no fans had no warning.
Yeah.
It just happened like all of a sudden.
Yes.
And so I'm sure their fans were like very upset by that and didn't know what was going to happen with them. And then, like, it was a matter of months after that Viviz was announced and has come back. So it's nice that you can see the 3 of them together again if you were a G-Friend fan. We don't have that history with them.
No.
So this was a very nostalgic performance for people who loved G-Friend. Yeah. We don't have that history, so I'm kind of like missing a little bit of that.
Well, how would I feel if 3 Eyes-One members that say
I would cry my face off.
Well, how would you feel? You'd be missing the other members, wouldn't you? What if somebody did not go
hurt?
So I don't know.
Hurt. So like,
the thing about G-Friend, people need to stop concentrating on this. What you're saying is true, that they had broken up quickly or whatever. Mm-hmm. Guess what? Before that, they had 7-8 years of pretty good success.
Very good.
So it might not have been as dramatic. I'm not saying it wasn't. For the fans, it was. Mm-hmm. At some point, you move on to another job. I think it's kind of being...
I think it's more the way it happened than that it happened. They didn't get to say goodbye as a group. They didn't get to do a final album that people knew was going to be their final album. Sure. They kind of just pulled the rug.
But I'm just saying, anyway, they did very well.
The song was beautiful.
The song was amazing. Here's the thing about a G-Friend, or about Viviz, is somehow they went from G-Friend, which is K-pop old style, let's say, from Hyolyn, who we'll talk about in a minute, was 2010s. Mm-hmm. You go back before that, it was getting into the really early K-pop stuff where it was like dark eyeliner and all that kind of stuff. And then G-Friend was like 15, 16 when they were really popular. So the pretty stuff with the hand wavy, the flowery dresses and the bubbles is my jam. Completely my jam.
Girly femme.
But it does not, if you watch it now, it does not feel modern at all. But that doesn't matter.
It's nostalgic feeling.
Because everything's cyclical. That style could very easily come back and be the most beautiful thing in the world. Somehow them performing with Hyolyn was like the perfect show.
Yeah, it was.
Because we'll talk about her in a minute, but they're doing their old school kind of sound with some more modern equipment and lights and stuff. It's a little string, not that they couldn't do it back then, but they're kind of updating it a bit. Mm-hmm. So it did feel a bit dated, but at the same time, you realize this is always good music. This is strings live is always good. So I'm glad they did it the way they did it, where it was just kind of it wasn't like, it didn't feel old, but it didn't ignore what they were known for. Mm-hmm. Hyolyn at the same time, we'll talk about her, but I just thought it was really, really good, but they can't do any more of this.
I think it's not that they can't, it's that this was very necessary.
Yeah, to get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way, like, recognize their history as G-Friend. They don't have to come out and only ever do Bop Bop, even though we love Bop Bop. And then they get to do their most famous songs as G-Friend. It's a beautiful arrangement, a beautiful dance. They get to kind of like pass that little torch. They didn't get to quite say goodbye before, and this is kind of them getting
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Like, hopefully, like say goodbye and like give this as a gift to their fans of G-Friend, and like it was necessary for them to do this. Now I'm excited to see what's next.
Right, because
as Viviz.
Because
Viviz, what's coming? What are you going to do next song? As Viviz, it can't always be nostalgia.
Right. At least so far, Viviz has very successfully branched from a super. I'm not saying it should sound this way, but a lot of people might say a dated sound, flowery, hand wavy stuff,
old fashioned,
to a very hip. It's still dancey and stuff, but it's a very bright, summery, really well crafted song.
Yeah,
the mixing is amazing.
So good.
That's a very modern thing to have very intricate mixing, because you don't have the full real band, so the mixer people are just doing all these little. They did it all. They even had backwards singing at the beginning. They had all these little weird. So they have successfully jumped into the 23rd. 21st century. I'm sorry.
Into the 2020s.
Yeah, 2020s. They're fine. Mm-hmm. So now what I want them to see them do is not just bop bop, but have a little fun, because nobody's heard their next thing. Mm-hmm. So just have some fun, do something, bring in some more G-Friend if you want, maybe do a modern take or whatever, but I think this is why I'm saying I think they're in a position to win the whole thing, is because they have successfully covered all of K-pop, except for cringy eyeliner K-pop, which was a bit of what Hyolyn did back in the day. It was super sexy stuff.
Yeah.
It was very 2010s, but I just think they're very, very not underrated, but I think people are sleeping on a bit. Of course they did fine, but I think once they're done, they'll have covered all the bases.
Yeah.
They're hilarious, and all the little they're going to be doing the sports day. They'll be hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Cindy's attitude will get all the edits. She's going to get all the screen time. What's her name is absolutely adorable.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Love it. I'm glad.
So we'll see.
It was a lovely start to the show. And then after that, we have Hyolyn doing Sistar's song "Touch My Body," which it kind of feels like just the way that Viviz had to do that. She had to do this, and it's good. And I'm glad it was the perfect choice. It
probably the most well-known song from them, right? From Sistar,
maybe as far as I know. And it's also a similar situation, paying homage to her past, showing who she is today. You kind of had to get it out of the way. Yeah. She has to do one Sistar song that's the one that everyone loves and knows.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also come out and just slay it.
Yeah, yeah.
She killed this whole thing.
She's also showing what the future of a lot of these idols could be. I'm not saying she's old. She's not a teenager. That a lot of those idols see her and go, okay, well, in 10 years or 12 years, maybe I could have a second career.
But it's not like that's easy. And it's everybody does what she can do, where similarly with her intro performance, she comes out, she singing live vocals, sounding absolutely amazing, just absolutely stunning. And then doing, adding in a full-on dance break to the part of it.
Which don't get any ideas, Hikaru.
I know.
Stay away from Hyolyn. I mean, you can talk to her, but you're not putting your butt in the air.
Doing a full-blown dance break, doing the signature dance that everyone knows, the little booty shake, touch my body, booty shake.
Looks like it's very stuck on their back.
It's very silly.
They're doing that game where they have to get the note.
It's off of. It's iconic. It's this iconic thing, and then the stage props and the direction and the screens were beautifully done, actually. It was just really, really well done. Just this big,
but it wasn't overly complicated. It was just
song thing with tons of backup dancers, and then adding all these different parts, and then at the end just again slaying the live vocals. She knows when to sing live and when not to sing live, and not to worry about it.
Well, you got to preserve your voice.
You do your hard when you're doing the hard dance part. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And then come back to the live vocals. She knows how to make a performance that looks like a Broadway show and make it look easy.
Well, the most interesting part to me is when she's hitting the improv at the end and she's doing the harmony with which is a brilliant harmony. Is that some of it sounds? There's a couple seconds that sound a little bit shaky. And because she's moving and stuff, and that was brilliant. She's live, but this is another. I think this is going to be a running theme of this show, other than Kepler. Who else? Brave Girls, no. Every one of them, if you think about it, have a history there. Everybody except Kepler. Well, minus Eugen. So some of the 8 members of Kepler have never done this before, but Hyolyn has successfully again branched the old school to the new school. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact. Shake My Body, Touch My Body, I'm sorry. A song like that could be that kind of a retro song that catches on again in that style, and all of a sudden people are rediscovering it. I mean, you see that with her. And if you watch her new videos, we watched on YouTube, whatever, she's doing very modern sounding.
I love it. I actually need to go and get into her discography, her solo discography, because I love just R&B type stuff, Korean R&B stuff, and it's really good. Her newer song "Laying Low" is really, really, really good.
It's a good song.
So I actually kind of love
that dance
it.
of Hikaru, I get no ideas.
I know.
But in the first,
I want her and Hikaru. I want Hikaru to meet her and them to be friends, because Hikaru looks up to her.
You know she does. Well, everybody does. But it's funny because she's she's doing this kind of recognition of her past. But now I'm wondering, is she gonna, the next one, is it gonna be a bit more? I mean, that one was a bit racy, not too bad, but I wonder if they're gonna allow her to do that.
I don't know.
So I'm really curious about that.
It's a similar thing with G-Friends, where it's like, now it was necessary to do this, and now let's see what's new next. And like,
yeah, but you would have thought that's what their introductory thing would have been. Was a recognition.
Well, it wasn't a whole song.
I mean,
it
not
was
in front
only
of an
just
audience.
a short.
See, G-Friend did a. I don't want to say a presentation, not boring, but did a, like when you go and you watch a play. You're not interacting necessarily. You're going, wow, ooh, pretty awesome. She did a concert.
Yeah.
So
that was like an end of a concert. They were laughing. They were like, she really should have went last. Well, this was like an end of a concert.
She did what Mama Moo did.
Yeah.
Which Mama Moo, if you watch them live, they don't do tons of hard dancing.
Right.
But they interact with the audience.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
It was good.
You can feel that kind of an energy through a broadcast, like, through the screen.
The other people have a lot to live up to. I'm just saying.
And the thing is, like you said, she made it look easy. We need to see something, though, I think, from her that maybe where she really kind of.
But also, she knows her strengths. She has her specialty. Yeah. She's going to play to that. I think that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. But
I'm looking forward to what else is coming there. But dang, she slayed.
She was good.
I freaking loved it. It was so good. And that's it. That was the first episode.
Wow.
It was good. I'm so excited for this show. I'm so excited for next week. The preview for next week, I don't know what happened. I don't know her name. One of the members of WJSN walks off the stage and is ugly crying. Like something went horribly wrong, and I don't know what it was.
We have to establish some facts.
What?
With K-pop shows where they edit.
They edit. Yeah, but she was ugly crying.
No, I know. This is a fact. Ugly crying. Adjusting the mic, she's coming off the stage. Somebody's quickly helping her.
She was talking about letting everyone down.
Letting everyone down. So we have a sour note.
Probably.
We have actual hurt.
Falling over.
Or something. Or missing a mark or something.
Right, maybe.
Some mess up on stage is what I think.
Something happened. I don't know what, but something went down. We don't know what it is, but I'm worried. I'm concerned.
The only line that made me think it's something probably not that big of a deal that had to do with her fault in particular, maybe it was kind of connected to her, as somebody was saying, I'm just really mad. Why can't we get a chance? That kind of a thing. And it made me think that something happened off stage that when she got on, I don't know. I don't know. I think she hit a sour note.
Probably. Again, because we don't know the members of WJSN as well, is she a main vocalist?
I don't know. We need to look it up. Somebody tell us in the comments.
Yeah, I don't know. But so here's to next episode and the rest of the performances for round 1. Next week we'll start voting.
Though, Luna. What happened with Luna?
We can also talk about it next time because we'll actually see their performance. Luna didn't perform at their filming for the first episode because they had COVID. They're going to come back and do like a pre-recorded thing and work it into the next episode, I think. And the only thing they're missing out on is the opportunity to have gotten the live votes from the live audience.
Right.
So they're not going to get those because they were absent, but they're still going to be able to get the opportunity for online votes and streams and stuff.
Right, live voting is 10% of the...
which is 10%
it's not a
of
huge
the score.
amount, but still it's something.
Yeah.
So basically, since live voting wouldn't happen until next week anyway...
Well,
online voting. I'm sorry.
Right.
They will... It's kind of like their quote unquote penalty.
Their penalty is the no live vote.
And it's not their nobody's saying it's their fault, but you also can't ignore the fact that they couldn't show up.
Right.
Whether it was a car accident or a vocal cord, whatever. There's you can't ignore it.
It was just unfortunate timing.
But it's not a huge. I think everybody would agree that's a fine. I think they would agree that's fine. We'll send it in, so online we'll see it, we'll vote on it. Which I'm wondering how well or bad that will work because we know
who
that
knows.
goes.
I don't know what to expect, but we will be back here on my channel next Saturday. If you enjoy our discussions, please subscribe, and we will see you then.
Yay!
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.